Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. We literally work with entrepreneurs in all corners of the world, and we do these free mentoring roundtables week after week after week. This is the 363rd session. And we've been doing this. We actually started tinkering with this format way back in 2008, in the fall of 2008. And then since then, of course, the 1M1M program was born in 2010, and this thing has become kind of the routine feature in the entrepreneurship ecosystem of the world. A lot of people come, stop by week after week. And we also use the same format for the mentoring for our premium members, but those are private sessions and not available to the outside world. So if you are live tweeting the show today, please use hashtag 1M1M. And at 1M1M and at Romana are the two handles through which we publish our content, which is, you know, rich and extensive. So please feel free to follow us and access that content. On the YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtables, we also have extensive amounts of content. Every single roundtable recording is available on our YouTube channel. So we actually live a very transparent life, and you can pretty much go back and check any of the roundtables there. We also have a lot of interesting content on the YouTube channel that are video content, short video lessons, and stuff like that. These are the call-in instructions. We're not quite ready for you to call in. We have a guest first, and then we're going to do the presenters, and then we will open up the line for call-in. But this is a roundtable, so we do want you to call in. We do want you to participate either via phone or via public chat. So do plan on asking lots of questions and engaging and participating, and that's how you learn the most. We're going to start our conversation with Swati Chaturvedi, co-founder and CEO of PropelX. Swati, welcome. Great to see you here. Swati, you need to unmute your line. There we go.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. Swati, tell us about PropelX.
Okay.
How do you work with investors and entrepreneurs?
Yes, absolutely. So PropelX is an investment marketplace where we connect startups with accredited investors. And our goal is to help startups raise funding online. As you know, it's really difficult for startups to raise funding, especially in the early phases. So our goal is to help there. We focus quite exclusively on deep technology companies. So those we define as companies that are founded on a scientific discovery or meaningful engineering innovation. And they span many sectors, including life sciences, energy and green technologies. Information technology is a very big sector for us. And then finally, space and food and ag. So those are the key sectors. How do we work with startups and investors? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
Okay, perfect. So the way it works is startups can register on PropelX. They can create a profile. We do have a screening process whereby we make sure that the startup is ready to fundraise. We have a phone call with every company, and those that are screened in are then published on PropelX. On the other hand, we have hundreds of investors that have registered on PropelX at this time, I guess, starting to go into the thousands, who have registered on PropelX. They are accredited investors. Their goal is to discover exciting new companies that they want to support. They register. We do screen all investors as well. Investors, once they're in, they can review the startup materials. And if they're interested, they can indicate an investment interest. And they can then invest directly.
Now, so, Swati, let's zero in on some things that are going to be helpful for our community. First and foremost, you talked about screening. So let's talk about what are you screening for? What does the startup need to have to pass your screening test, let's say?
Okay. So there's a lot of platforms out there, and everyone has a different philosophy. At PropelX, we really focus only on companies that are really founded on meaningful innovation. So the number one screen criterion for us is what is your particular innovation? And so we have a lot of in-house expertise in all of these areas, and we dig into, when we have the phone call, we do dig quite deeply into specifically what was your innovation. We compare it to what we've seen before, what was already on the table, and what you built on top of that. So that's the number one criterion. The second criterion is we do need the team to be full-time. And most particularly, the CEO absolutely needs to be full-time. And finally, because we are not a broker, so we are not allowed to be negotiating terms. So we do require that the startup come in with at least one investor who's already negotiated terms in the current round. And they may have invested a small amount, but that's okay, but they should have negotiated the terms. And our requirement is that this one investor not be related to the entrepreneur, so not your mother or your brother, not friends, family so much, but a legitimate angel with two other portfolio companies. So those are our three criteria.
And within information technology, which is the area where we work, what are the trends that you're seeing in terms of where do you see innovation? What kind of, in our world, we see AI everywhere right now. And all the investors want AI. I mean, I'm a bit sick of it actually right now. But what are you seeing in your community?
Yes, so you're absolutely right. What was big data yesterday? The buzzword today is AI. But we are very careful. So it's not just okay to say, oh, we're an AI company, because we particularly screen for what is your particular innovation, right? Because data analytics is what most of AI is built on. And some bit of natural language processing and so on. Those things already exist. And so we are very keen that if you are using artificial intelligence, it should either be highly specialized, so as applicable to a specific sector. For example, we've had a company that uses artificial intelligence to select therapies for cancer patients, right? And the data that they're using is not just genomic data, but also RNA data. And so they are highly specialized. They really developed it far beyond what exists. We've had companies that are using artificial intelligence to map indoor spaces. And we were a little skeptical on that, but then we had a long conversation as to what your specific innovation is, and we came to the conclusion that this, in fact, is innovative. But we've also had AI or companies that have pitched us. There was one company that helps interior decorators select the best, fixtures. That was not a good fit for us. We thought that, so they're really looking at some bit of machine vision. They are scanning a lot of data that exists out there and then understanding what would be the good fit for you. So I didn't think that that was truly innovative, just because, those kinds of things have existed and for a long time. So that's the kind of trend we see. Yes, AI is everywhere. But we zero in on what is your application and is it truly innovative.
And how about some examples of companies that you have funded through your process within the IT sector?
Okay, sure. So some of the companies, like I said, one of the companies was a company that was doing sorry, just a moment.
phone call is coming.
I'm so sorry. Sorry, I was entertaining. My daughter is quite sick today, and so I had to be with her. So some examples of companies. So one of the companies that we helped was they're including a software into chips that are then sent to OEMs like the Samsungs of the world, and which are included. So the idea there is it is an Internet of Things application, and those chips track every connected device in the home. And the idea there is that can you understand what the user experience is, why those devices are failing, not working? Is it because of the device itself, or is it because of internet failures elsewhere or other failures in the systems themselves? So that was helpful. Another company that we're doing in information technology, so this is embedded software again. And the idea here is they're focused on gesture recognition. So the goal is that they want to make every device be able to recognize gestures. So today, gesture recognition is a computing-intensive process. It is really difficult to compute locally. A lot of the gesture recognition computing or recognitions actually happen in the cloud. So the idea is, can we reduce the footprint of the hardware and the software so that every tiny device can actually recognize gestures? And that's what they have done, is they've reduced the footprint of the hardware and the software so that it can be embedded on tiny chips. Every little device, including your tiny, Tiffany watches and so on, will be able to recognize gestures. It could be as simple as your hand movement. It could be based on touch, and so on. So that is an important trend as well that we're seeing, important applications. Those are two that come to mind immediately when I mentioned this drug development company, which is using artificial intelligence to develop therapies.
And talk a little bit about the types of investors who are part of your community.
So all of them are accredited investors. What that means is, according to the SEC standard, every investor...
We're not interested in knowing what, we know what accredited investors mean. We want to understand viscerally what kinds of people are we dealing with. We have a good feel for what kinds of people hang out in Angel List, what kinds of people hang out in PropelX. How would you describe them?
Yeah, so the people, so we have done a lot of demographic analysis, right? We certainly know the age groups are, and they're 45 plus, but we also know a lot about their education levels. So for example, on PropelX, 60% of individuals have master's degrees or more. 13% of individuals have PhDs or more. So they're very highly educated people. They tend to ask a lot of questions.
Are these people who have had experience as angel investors? Have they done this before? Do they have exits? What statistical data do you have on that?
Yes. So the people that actually invest, almost 100% of them have done this before. Okay. So, so we are an internet company, so we kind of attract all kinds. But that said, most people are watchers, and the 10% of the people who've actually pulled the trigger, they have a very strong correlation with offline angel investment portfolios. So they tend to have done it before. In terms of exit, we haven't specifically asked, have you had exits before? But because we know that they're professional angels offline, our understanding is that they kind of know how this process works. They're comfortable with it. They understand the holding periods and so on.
Yeah, your business is still relatively new, so you haven't seen a lot of exits.
Yes, not yet.
One thing that I observe is that we are in 2017, and tons of stuff have already been built. And nowadays, if you look at the B2B IT world, there aren't so many wide open opportunities to build these hyper fast, hyper scalable, really large companies, which is been kind of like the general way angel investment has happened, right? Angels invest and they invest into rounds, well, they invest in businesses that then get follow-on VC funding and go on to build these very large companies. That's been the hypothesis. Of course, you know, most of these investments fail. But the truth is that's what people have been looking for. The angels have operated as feeders into VCs, and the VCs are looking for these very very large opportunities, hyper growth, hyper scalable businesses. But today where we are, there are many, many niche opportunities. Some of these businesses kind of don't fit that parameter, that set of parameters that VCs are looking for. Some of these businesses need to be built for very small amounts of capital, maybe $1 to $2 million, and sold for $10 to $15 million. Is there appetite in your community for this type of investment? And what about a lot smaller, even like invest $250,000 to $500,000 and sell for $5 to $10 million?
Yeah, so that I would agree that has been the case, that people look for these mega opportunities. But I'm not sure that angels are of that mindset as well. In fact, professional angels and angel groups tend to avoid these mega opportunities where they face, future venture capital competition. And so that is why something like, for example, medical devices, angel investors, which it is not with the venture community, because the expectation is that the exits will be small. They will be in the 15, 20, 30 million range, and that I think is significant. And
that may be true in medical devices. In IT, the expectations are very much that they're going to be feeders into large VCs, and VCs are going to be looking for large-scale opportunities. So I think I'm pretty sure the dynamics of different industry angel communities are different, and you're absolutely right. Probably when it comes to medical devices, we don't do medical devices, we don't do pharma, we only do IT, where we are seeing some angels or some, kind of angel come acceleration groups that are focusing, and I know a group that just does AI investments, only invest small amounts of money, takes a lot of equity, and expects that there will be no VC involved. They're going to go straight to an exit. So this kind of things are starting to happen now. I think the angels are realizing that, if you get into a company that is that, let's say it's a good company, you get into a company, it's a good company, but then they feed into the unicorn mania and raise hundreds of millions of dollars, and the angel gets diluted like crazy, and weighed down under huge amounts of liquidation preferences, make no money whatsoever. Yeah. So I can imagine that sophisticated angels are not aware of these things. What are your feelings? What are you hearing in your community?
Oh, they are, and everyone's very cautious about how much venture capital money will you need after this, right? So I think they totally are. But again, I feel like people need to get comfortable with the idea. Look, if you're not going to invest in a company that needs venture capital, or if you're specifically looking for a company that does not need future venture money, then the expectation should be that this exit will be small, and you should be comfortable with that. I think people have not come to terms with that. The funny thing is they look for, but they don't want you to raise venture money, and that becomes really hard to reconcile. So I would agree. I think there needs to be some education there, and the more we can do to educate angels, I think that's helpful. And so if that's okay, I'd love for you to be able to educate them, and we can chat more about that.
So tell us about types of ideas your investors are looking for that, within the IT space that would be helpful for us to look into.
So there is a big trend of combining hardware with software, right? So robotics. is a trend. It is growing. I think robotics is still hard because it is hardware. But again, what is specific to PropelX, is we do need like some specific innovation.
So in terms of when it comes to IT and specific innovation, would you do you consider, like we were talking about niches, right? There are niches that are open, wide opportunities are not as easily open right now, given where we are in the history of technology. So let's say there is a particular sector of cloud computing, and within that, there are specific niche markets that are open where there is a certain amount of innovation that people apply to that. Is that considered innovation in your terminology, or are you looking for something far more extensive when it comes to original innovation?
Yeah, so again, it will depend on that particular instance. But yes, we've had companies that are innovating in the sphere of cloud computing. So for example, we had this company that it's really a containerization for migration of data in the cloud. And they had some particular innovations around that particular idea. And so we did get them on board. We've had other companies that look at security in the cloud, for example. So security is, by the way, just another important trend. Then we had companies which uses artificial intelligence to monitor the performance. And if you look at things like app dynamics and so on, currently they tell you what's going on, and then you have to manually take action. So the next step is, can you automatically correct the system, right? And so we've had those companies as well. So I think absolutely we consider that to be innovation. It is innovation, but yeah, to confirm that there is that trend, and we do see that. Samana, I'm sure. Can you just hold on? I feel like I'm going to run out of power. If I may just get the power cord, if you don't mind for a minute.
Okay, sure. One of the observations that I have about AI trends, and a lot of people who are in the know in the industry share this observation, is that the basic AI technologies, whether it's natural language processing, whether it's machine learning algorithms and so forth, are going to become commoditized. And there are large companies, Microsoft, IBM, Google, they're all working on trying to commoditize and kind of make these platforms very easily available and very, usable by people who have domain knowledge in specific domains, so that you can apply AI to solve problems within those specific domains. And people who are heavily investing in AI right now are looking for people who are domain experts, who are applying that domain knowledge using some of these AI technologies, some off-the-shelf AI technologies even, and creating new solutions. So the reason I bring this up is that the nature of innovation is changing, and the point at which innovation kicks in gear is changing, is evolving. So, so that actually brings questions, Swati, for your investor base, is that how would they view domain knowledge as the key unfair advantage in a venture, in an AI venture, but the real advantage is not AI algorithms, it is the domain knowledge. And I think those are the companies that are going to be valuable companies, as opposed to people who reinvent the wheel every time on inventing AI algorithms.
Absolutely. So that is for us key. So you were asking, how do you screen AI companies? So one of our screening criteria is what is, and I guess this is not 100% the screening criteria, but one of the things we do focus on is what is the application and do you have expertise in that particular industry? And I think investors do look for that kind of expertise. It is not okay to just be a programmer, who's very generic. You need to have expertise in that kind of industry, especially you need to understand the business. So sales, in other words, you need to have a team that knows the industry well enough to sell the solution to the relevant people.
And last question, what about stage? What are you looking for? Are you looking for idea? Are you looking for customers? Are you looking for paying customers? What stage is the most comfortable stage for you?
Yes, and so this is a very important question, especially for information technology companies. So with other companies, it's okay if you haven't done customer development. But with information technology companies, because they don't need as much capital to get started, and so therefore it is imperative that you should have done customer development in information technology. And what we are seeing is that the companies that are successful on PropelX have customers, and preferably paying customers. So for example, the company I was telling you about that embeds their software into chips that are then sold or manufactured and sold by OEMs, they had some of the biggest names as paying customers, and they had bootstrapped it so far, and they had gotten the likes of the Googles of the world to become paying customers. So I think that was just a sign, and the companies that don't have paying customers, in information technology, it is hard, I think, to raise funding.
This is the state of the union right now. You have to bootstrap for, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 3 years to actually get to paying customers before angel investors are going to invest in you. And that's just how the industry is today. There's no going around that fact.
No, unfortunately. And we had.
All right, Swati, I know you have. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and just one more example. Even companies that get venture funded, I think VCs are also looking for paying customers now. So we had a company, for example, that does video analytics, right? And their innovation is that they're able to recognize faces in a crowd, which I think is very, very important. And so they had bootstrapped it. They had $3 million in sales, and they were looking for their first angel funding. So they did get the angel round very quickly, and then they also raised the Series A fairly rapidly. But that's a lot of sales for a small company, and they had been bootstrapping for a while.
Well, in our program, the philosophy is bootstrap first, raise money later. So we have tons of companies, both case studies as well as companies in our portfolio that have bootstrapped $2, $3, $4 million in revenue, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. And we encourage that because that puts the negotiating power in their hands as opposed to going with begging bowls to investors, and we tend to advise them to try to avoid that state. And of course, we have nonetheless, because there is this myth in the industry where entrepreneurs think that they immediately need to raise funding, entrepreneurship equals funding, and they ignore all the signals that is no longer the case, that no one is going to fund them, and they're going to just waste their time going with a begging bowl to VCs and to angels. And they still don't get it, and they still don't listen, and they waste a lot of time and eventually actually go out of business. If you waste your time chasing investors at the cost of chasing customers, you're going to go out of business. And that is just the reality that you have to come to terms with. So on that note, Swati, I will let you go because I know you have a sick child at home. So I appreciate that you participated today with all that complexity. So happy juggling.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye. Nice to be here.
Good to see you. Folks, we are going to do the Entrepreneur Pitch session next. And I just want to set a few expectations, and then we'll dive into your slides. Remember, this is a safe working session, nothing else. This is a place where you can share your concerns, your anxieties, your challenges, roadblocks. What is it that you're struggling with? What can we help you with? And we will try to help you with, feedback based on our experience. We have a ton of people who have weighed in on issues related to this industry based on their experiences, their journeys. This includes 750 plus successful entrepreneurs. That includes 50 plus unicorn entrepreneurs, 400 plus venture funded companies, 300 plus bootstrap entrepreneurs who have been successful. And all that expertise, all that knowledge kicks in gear on your behalf in the 1M1M program. And that's incredibly useful to be able to learn from other people who have done it before. So that's the knowledge and expertise that we're trying to plug into your journeys so that you can accelerate, you can avoid mistakes, you can avoid wasting, huge amounts of time, precious years of your life. Remember one thing, not all businesses can raise money. You can discard every piece of feedback that you get here. You can take it, leave it, that's up to you. It's your venture, you decide what you want to do with it. Remember one thing, not all businesses can raise money, not all businesses should raise money, and raising money does not guarantee success. So if you have somewhere in your brain this wrong programming that entrepreneurship equals financing, please try to deprogram your brain. That is one of the biggest fallacies of this industry and the cause of numerous startup deaths. We don't want you to die. You have to survive to succeed. All right, we are going to start, let me see. We're going to start with Nikhil, I think, not Santosh. So let me skip to Nikhil's slides. Nikhil Sharma. Here we go, Nikhil. Please unmute your line and tell us what you're working on.
Hi, Salama. How are you? Can you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Great. Great. So let me tell you about myself that I'm a founder of Adalum, India, and more than 15 years of entrepreneurial experience. And so the reason I have, before starting, giving my pitch to you, I just want to tell you a small story why I started this Adalum. What happens, and about that one fine day, one of my friends called me, and he asking me that, I want to sell my car, and he don't know, he's getting a random calls and 10 to 15 calls a day with all the description people are asking, which already had given in his, when he posted an ad. So he was asking that, think so that some kind of a feature should be there that anybody can sell on behalf of me. So I was struck with that idea that, yeah, a really great idea. This is one of the problem people are facing in online classified, that whenever they post an ad, they got random calls asking the same thing again and again, and which already in description. So I stuck with this idea and started doing research, what other problems people are facing in online classified, because as I have a period experience which I have done some kind of mistake. Before starting something, you should do some kind of research before you building something up. So what I have researched that most of the 70, I have tried to call more than 100 or 120 people to one of the top classifieds in India, and you can say that more than 70% of the people, when I ask them what kind of main problem you're facing in online classified, 70% of the people tell me same 3 to 4 things which they are facing right now. The first important thing that they got a random call. The second thing which you are facing is filling up the big forms of category, subcategory, and some of the other things related to they got fraud calls, or they are going through some fraud and all that. So I have collected all the problems and I have started building this product to solve this problem.
Nikhil, I have a question. Are you saying that all classifieds that the kind of classifieds that you are looking at have a phone number attached to them, which triggers a lot of fraud calls or irrelevant calls, random calls?
Yeah, of course. I have, like, personally I called them more than out of random 100 calls, and more than 30 to 40% say that, yeah, actually I have received a call from this person, that I generally have talked to them on the chat, and he want to sell me a fake phone, a Apple iPhone fake phone. And not only this problem, I mean, lot of issues which people are facing, and they are really don't want to.
People are scraping phone numbers and trying to sell people other things.
Yeah, that's right. Like fake phones, fake electronics items, or something like that. So actually, before starting something, so I want to know because the classified in India is already evolved. The biggest player is already there in the market who has a huge pile of market share. It's more than 70 to 80%. My only thing that I can solve this problem to just solve what people facing this kind of problem. So if I can solve this problem, I can get some kind of share in like 3 to 5 years.
So what is your solution?
This is the issue.
You need to move quickly. We are on your first slide. I have 3 other people to work with. So let's get moving. How do you solve this problem of false calls?
So going first, one of the main things that people, when posting an ad, they want to post like a big form. So I created this one feature where people can sell their items in less than 5 seconds. We don't have to select any category, subcategory, or description or anything. They just select a title and image, and they can sell in 5 seconds. Everything else will be done over by moderation team. This is I've already solved and kind of very good success in that. Next thing I have created this tool, that price discovery tool. That whenever you want to sell, they don't know what price they can sell, so instantly it can be sell. So I've created this tool that people can put their details, that what is the correct price. Like for example, that somebody want to sell their sofa, and this is what is the description. I don't know what point they can sell, so it can easily sellable. So we have created this like service-based business classified real-time reviews. That generally yeah. So yeah. You want to say something, Sanama?
So the site is already running, and these are your metrics, yes?
Yeah, this is my metrics, and for the last 10 months, you can say we have a very good number, because before starting this venture, I've already started collecting my emails and from the people who are already in an online classified. So after I launched, I started attracting those customers so they can post and they can find people in that and they can sell their products. So we already have more than 7,200 of increase of traffic, which is more than 50% month on month, and 75 product listing is already there. And you can say more than 8,000 active sellers are there monthly, and 35,000 active users. There are more than, now if I talk about recently, there are more than 55,000 active monthly users for the, you can say for the last month. And before starting this, I've already created this Adalum India Facebook group. So I already have 1.5 lakh members in this Adalum India Facebook group. So people who are related or connected to Adalum, or we can help, they can post their ad. So it is also helping them. Thus we already have 1.5 lakh pages indexed in Google, and as I already said that I want to create other ways of connecting partnership with that. So this is what I have done, that this is one of our main base of traffic coming from. One is like Trevoit.in and Mithula.in.
How do you make money?
Yeah, I'm already making money. I'm already like 60% break-even point because I'm always trying to get some kind of revenue. That is my main point.
So what is the business model? You're charging charging people who post ads?
Not only that, the post adding is absolutely free. Now recently we added a premium model. That is the one part which we recently started. It's absolutely free till now, but we have a different kind of revenue system that people who want to advertise their tools, people who want to connect and reach to the right kind of people. Like for example, drone technology want to reach to the people who want to sell a car or buy a car or do anything related to vehicles. So we done a partnership with Drone Technologies, which is the biggest marketplace for automobiles. And the second, this is the one of the main point we are getting a revenue from. Then other way we are getting a revenue from AdSense, banner advertising or related to that. Yes.
So what is your range of revenue right now? How much are you making on a monthly basis or annual basis?
Whatever our monthly run rate, we are reached to more than 60% break-even point of our monthly run rate. Yes. We are another 40%.
What is that? What are we talking about? Are we talking about like a couple of $1,000s a month? Are we talking? You say it earlier in your slide that you're bootstrapping from your apartment.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
So your cost base is quite low. You've managed to keep your cost base low.
Yeah, because I already have experience in bootstrapping other companies in the last 15 years. So it's like some of the things which I already applied to do something like to have a, reach to that level and with a very low cost. So that's why I have done some of these strategies. Yeah.
So now, are we talking about, just give me a sense of, are we talking like a couple of $1,000s a month? Are we talking about $10,000 a month? What kind of revenue range are we talking?
Yes. So our, like for example, just give you a full picture of what is the market and what are our plans and what are our business plans and all. The market for currently classified is more than 10,000 crores right now. Total and 70% of the market is taken care of the biggest place in the market. And next 5 years, if we solve the top 5 problems, our target to reach at least 5% of total market share, which will be at least 500 crore in next 5 years. So our thing is that we want to solve the problem of the people who are facing in online classifieds and create traffic, increase our traffic. Our next 1 year to 1.5 year target is like reach to 10 million users monthly. And then we can solve this kind of problem and reach to our 5-year business plan. Yes.
So what is your question?
Yeah, so my questions are like that this is what we want to do, that we want to get looking for the funding, like a seed funding, who can, we can apply all these ideas. Like for example, if I give you one idea that there is a target audience for online classified, which people have, only have the smartphones. People who don't have a smartphone, they really don't connect it to the online classifieds. Because they don't know about the online classified, they don't know how to sell and all that. So what we can do, we can take online classified in offline way. How we can do that? Like there are a lot of people who are doing offline marketing. Like there are a lot of recharge shops in India, in every corner of the city. So we can go there and do something like that and put a banner that sells everything, and the local people can come and sell their product on the local shops.
Okay, Nikhil, I don't have more time to spend with you. So whatever little time I can spend with you, I want to point you in the right direction.
What are the growth hacks you can help us to reach 10 million users in next 2 years? And if we don't get funded, and what are the top 3 strategies to continue as a bootstrapping company?
Have you figured out how you're acquiring customers right now? Do you understand precisely how people find you?
Yeah, so we are doing content marketing. This is one of the biggest, we are getting a customer. We are doing a blog marketing. We're writing blogs. We're helping people to buy content market because this is the lowest way we can go and target our customer. So this is the one point, and other our network partnership is there. Then we are building our SEO. We have very good response and we have a very good team in SEO. I already have 5 people in my company who are working in SEO only, and we have a, you can say, more than 500% of organic traffic increase in last 6 months, you can say that. So the one point is SEO and content marketing and our networks which are giving us a target audience, and then we are acquiring these customers. Yes.
So why are you saying that neither content marketing nor SEO are things you can do more of with more money? This is kind of, it's good and bad actually, because SEO is SEO. You're going to have there is a certain volume of traffic that is out there, and keyword search traffic, and you would be able to harness some portion of that through SEO. So adding funding is not going to accelerate your SEO necessarily. It will probably not accelerate too much of your content marketing either. So the question that I have a question mark against is, like, you're talking about raising seed funding. I don't understand what you're going to do with that seed funding. How is...
First of all,
if you told me, hold on.
And the second point which I want to do, taking online classified to offline. So there will be some need of funding to reach to the every corner of the city. So it will not only advantage to my company, it will advantage to all people of India who want to use an online classified, want to sell their stuff. There, if you know that recently there is a study, there are 25,000 crores of cluster in their homes, and why they are not able to sell? Because they don't know how to use a smartphone, how to use a desktop site.
Yeah. So this again, you have to pilot that and understand the unit economics of that. Without piloting it, if you come and tell investors, and I'm kind of role playing with you right now as an investor, I have no idea what is it going to cost to go to this offline mode. I have no idea what are the unit economics, what are the customer. Nikhil, you have to listen. If you talk over me, this session is completely unproductive, okay? So the thing that you don't understand and I don't understand and we don't have any data on to review is, what does it mean to go offline? What does it cost to go offline? What is the customer acquisition cost? What kind of revenues can we expect from that move, and so forth? So right now, if that's your strategy, then you're going to need to pilot it and come back with numbers of what are we talking about here, because I don't understand that business at all. And I cannot pull from from a hat growth hacks that will help you reach 10 million users in 2 years. There are no growth hacks that will help you reach 10 million users in 2 years. And most likely you will not get funded anytime soon. So you do need to figure out how to get to revenue and how to increase revenues organically. So for the moment, there is no funding possibility. Based on what you presented here, this is not a fundable scenario. Doing $1,400, $1,500 a month on a classified business is not a fundable scenario at this stage of the game in the ecosystem. So you're going to need to figure out, what is the differentiation? What is the business that we are building here? And what is it? VCs are interested in funding companies that go from 0 to 100 million in 5 to 7 years. Your business right now, what you've presented, does not have those characteristics. So if you want to go the funding route, you need to figure out a story that is going to work to fulfill that objective of angels and VCs. And if not, then you need to continue bootstrapping and continue monetizing. So in that scenario, I would say, if you have figured out certain things, and you have figured out certain things, you've got a pretty significant SEO and content marketing effort going, large numbers of traffic that you have brought to your system. Now you need to figure out higher monetization rates. The top 3 strategies to continue bootstrapping. Number 1 is you're going to have to get more money, more monetization out of your user base, out of your existing user base. So you need to do very core strategic work to figure that out. Then you're going to need to obviously use the same kinds of mechanisms, the SEO, the content marketing type of mechanisms to drive more traffic. You need to figure out what's working and what do you need to do to get more traffic. So it's a combination of getting more traffic and monetizing the traffic you've got in more aggressively and keeping costs down. Those are your 3 strategies to continue bootstrapping. Okay?
So one thing I just want to point out, if you have a time.
I don't have the time, unfortunately. I have 3 other people that I have to work with, so I am unfortunately going to have to stop there with you.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ray Vincent, you're up next.
Hi, Sarmana. Thank you. Very, very good morning.
Good morning.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks for the opportunity.
Your phone is echoing. We cannot do the session unless you stop the echo. You need to mute the computer line that is generating the echo. If you have your computer audio on, you need to mute it.
I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do that. You think guys know that I'm not able to do that?
You can't mute your computer line?
Is it clear now?
Yes. There we go. Go ahead.
Great. Wonderful. Okay. So I know that I got just 3 minutes. The app name is MyFriend app. It's basically a dining and vacation partner app. Okay, so if you could just go to the next slide. So the target users are basically the college student, the single men and women. And the main USP of this app is if you want to choose a place to dine out or if you want to choose a place to go for vacation, this app says you have to just enter two inputs. That means if you want to choose a restaurant close to 10 miles, you just enter $10. It will capture the restaurants close by. And if you want to go out for a vacation, you enter, for example, $2,000. And it will give you a package within $2,000. It will show from different continents where now you can travel within $2,000. And if you choose a number for if you want to dine out, it will give you the restaurants close by. So this is the app.
So you're dining out, you're talking about proximity, and when you're talking about vacations, you're talking about budget. That's what you're talking about, right?
That's right.
So a quick feedback on how you pitch. I just synthesized your pitch, right? When you're talking about, I just rattled out what I understood of your pitch, which I think is a crisper pitch than the way you pitched it.
Sorry, come again. I missed it. Sarma. Could you please repeat that?
I summarized what you do in one sentence in a more crisp way than you pitched your business. So when the recording is published, listen to how I synthesized it and pitch it like that. It's a crisper pitch.
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay, so where are you with this app? Is this launched already?
No, it's not launched. In fact, I just want to share this idea to you and to know that it's worthwhile pursuing this idea so I can develop an app with my friends.
What is the business model that you're going to be doing with this?
The business model I'm trying to do with this, once the app is developed, I'll be marketing to the college-going students in India and to the people who are not married, the working class people. So these are the two target audience I would like to market the app.
But what is the business model? How do you make money? Who pays?
Maybe I'll be getting paid when they book the restaurant, the partners, that is the restaurants they will be choosing, and the vacation packages they will be choosing. I'll be connecting this app with the content providers like the leading travel portals like MyFriend and MyFriend and all. So if I get a link to that, they'll be paying.
So Ray, it sounds like, and it's not clear, but it sounds like you're thinking about an affiliate business model. So you're going to have a whole bunch of affiliate partners that people would choose from, and once they choose one of those, whether it's restaurant or a vacation or a tour, whatever, you are going, if they choose and buy one of those, you're going to get paid an affiliate commission from that. That's what it sounds like. So in that case, you're going to need to learn how an affiliate business is built, and that's what I would encourage you to study. The other thing I would encourage you to do is go to our website, the 1M1M website, and there's a self-assessment. Put your idea through that self-assessment and continue building that idea. Answer every single detail of questions and try to figure out a strategic plan. Right now, your idea is at a very beginning stage, and I kind of like the fact that you haven't started putting in a lot of money into building this app, because there is quite a bit of validation work that still needs to be done. I would like you to do that before you build this app. And the starting point for that validation work is the 1M1M self-assessment. Okay?
Right, good. Yeah, but do you like this idea?
I don't know if I like this idea, because the monetization part, I am not completely convinced on whether this is going to monetize very well or not. Part of the reason I don't understand the monetization is restaurants. Are there affiliate sites where that, is there an affiliate partnership that you can create such that you can monetize this restaurant? Or are you going to have to go sell to each restaurant one by one, in which case I hate the idea, actually, because that is going to be a very expensive process, and that is, as a business, I do not like that business. The tour side, again, I would like to know what is the affiliate network, or what kind of affiliates are you going to be tapping into, so that you can quickly start monetizing, or are you going to have to go sell to thousands and tens of thousands of tour operators or hotels and so forth to put this thing together? So my big problem with your idea is I'm not convinced about the viability of the business model.
Okay, I got it. So if it goes through the partner model, as you told, then I think it's a viable idea, right? You could go through a partner model.
Then it could be a viable idea, as long as you do it in a very cost-efficient way, because affiliate, the margins of affiliate fees are very low. Affiliate commissions are, 5 to 20%, and it varies, but it's a very low margin business. So you're going to have to that's your revenue, and then you have to make sure that your operating expenses are manageable within that. So you have to do it as a very lean venture. But, a lot of people have built very nice affiliate businesses. You make a few $1 million, you run a very tight ship, and you've got a nice business, nice small business, and it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, and I kind of like that business model, actually. But in your sector, the hotels and restaurants and travel, it's not clear to me that those kinds of affiliate touch points are fully organized. That's the research that you're going to need to do.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Good luck.
Thanks, Ramana. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Michelle Govin, you're up next. Michelle? Where is Michelle? I see Michelle on the phone. What's happening? So there are a couple of sets of slides in the slide deck where the people who are supposed to present them are not connecting. So I'm going to go move on and I'm going to take you through the 1M1M program description, and then we'll come back and see who is ready and geared up to present. If you like what we are doing here, as you can see, the feedback is very candid, very direct, and not sugar-coated. So, if you like this kind of very direct approach, very no-nonsense approach to mentoring and to acceleration programs, you're welcome to participate as well as bring lots of your friends who are looking for similar help into the program. The word serious is in bold. As you may have paid attention to as I was talking with Swati Chaturvedi. Michelle, can you please go on mute for the moment, because I'm going to come back to you, but right now you need to go on mute. Please don't interrupt the call.
Sorry, permanently on mute. Sorry.
The word serious is in bold because, as you heard in my conversation with Swati, today the funding landscape is such that you're going to have to go through tremendous amount of bootstrapping to get to a level where you have paying customers before even seed investors, angel investors are going to be willing to invest in your company. And that being the case, we need entrepreneurs who have realistic expectations about what it entails to be an entrepreneur and how much work is going to be required in a bootstrap mode. And if you do not have realistic expectations about that, this program is not going to work for you, because we don't perform miracles and we do not promise to perform miracles. We don't tell you that come join the program and tomorrow we're going to get you funded. You're going to have to put in all the time and work to become fundable if you are pursuing financing. And if not, we're going to work with you shoulder to shoulder to figure out how you're going to monetize, how you're going to build your business. And that's fine. And we're happy to work with you on a bootstrap business as well. We don't require that you choose financing or pursue financing, but you have to be a serious entrepreneur who understands all these nuances. All resources are at 1Mby1M.com. There is a blog that is chock full of serious, valuable stuff. And then you have the Entrepreneur Journeys book series. There are 12 volumes of Entrepreneur Journeys books that you can learn a ton from. Each volume has 12 to 16 case studies of successful entrepreneurs. You'll learn a ton from that. These roundtables happen every Thursday almost. We don't have one next Thursday, but following that we have 2 roundtables in August, and we have 4 roundtables in September. So there's a continuous flow of roundtables where you can come and get help. The full acceleration program is 1M1M Premium, and there you get full, extensive methodology guidance, a full curriculum that is an online video lectures and case study-based curriculum that includes input from all these 750 plus successful entrepreneurs that we have brought onto this forum, their journeys, their case studies, their inputs, their interviews, etc. We help you with business development where we have connections and you want to access those connections. We will very, very generously let you access our network, no problem. We help you with strategy consulting, this kind of direct, constructive critique of your business's feedback, strategic guidance that happens within the premium program, but in private roundtables. And we help you with financing. If you can get to a point where you meet the criteria of the investors that we work with, we will introduce you to those investors. We have a very large investor network, and we can get the word out about your business. We have tremendous clout in the media, so that's the other part of the premium program. And that premium program is a $1,000 annual membership fee. You can be in the program for as many years as you want to be, as long as you are, paying your membership fees. We don't kick you out. We don't have any concept of graduation. As long as you need us, we will be there working with you. The 1M1M self-assessment, which I mentioned earlier, is something that we suggest you put your business idea through as much as possible, as crisply as possible. So there are questions that you need to answer. Investors would definitely ask you these questions. My perspective is that you are the most important investor in your company, and you should be asking these questions of yourself. Today, I really liked Ray's, presentation in a way, because Ray hasn't gone and invested several years of his life on an idea without validating it. And I would say that business that Ray just presented needs huge amounts of validation work before a line of code ought to be written on this product. And I really like the fact that Ray came and talked to me here, so I was able to give him that feedback. So if you take your idea through this self-assessment and see whether your idea has legs or not, and then invest in software development, that is a much better strategy than writing huge amounts of code and going and launching a business when a business does not have legs. Not all businesses have legs. Not all business ideas are financeable. Not all business ideas are monetizable. More importantly, not all business ideas are monetizable. And if you have an app idea or a software idea or whatever that nobody is willing to pay for, or you have no monetization path, please don't get into that business. That is a bad business. You're going to go out, you're going to spend precious years of your life doing absolutely worthless things. Please don't do that. Now, as you're trying to answer the self-assessment questions, if you get stuck on methodology, feel free to subscribe to 1M1M Basic, and that is our curriculum-only option. And if you intensely spend time with that curriculum, we have probably 300 hours worth of curriculum in there. If you spend at least 50 hours worth of curriculum time digesting the core curriculum and maybe the most relevant elective to your business, you will learn a tremendous amount, and it will help you figure out where you're going with your business and how far should you go, whether you should go ahead or not. To understand 1M1M, go and dig around on the website and try to understand the program, what to expect from the premium program, the basic program, etc. There are lots of videos, video FAQs, etc. that will help you understand the program. The program is not for everybody. Like I said, if you have unrealistic expectations, we cannot meet those expectations. There's a lot of self-learning and studying involved. It is a bit like going to school, and you're going to have to put in that investment in learning and studying, in validating, and doing the legwork, chasing customers, all of that. And if you're not willing to do that, we cannot help you. There's no way we'll be able to make your business click in gear. But we have made a lot of businesses click in gear. So if you do the right things, and if you do have a good idea, we will be able to help you get your business click in gear. And if you have a bad idea, we will put you through the right process and the right validation methodology such that that idea will get invalidated and you will not waste a lot of time, a lot of precious years of your life pursuing a bad idea. So that in itself is also valuable. We have also invalidated a lot of bad ideas and stopped people from pursuing, bad career directions. Our methodology, as I said, is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. If you raise money, it's going to be bootstrap first, raise money later, and there's no alternative. As you heard in the conversation with Swati and many other previous conversations, if you've been attending these roundtables regularly, there is no alternative. We cannot manufacture an alternative for you. Okay, I am going to go, Michelle, if you are able to.
I am here, and I apologize.
Perfect. No apology required. Let's go back and go through your slides here. Hang on one second.
So my pitch is 5 minutes, if we can still do that, and I will fly through it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So thank you for having me. My name is Michelle Godwin. I am one of 2 co-founders of Panion. So Panion is a mobile app, and it connects people based on shared interests. And in the next 5 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a high-level overview of the app, its value prop, our business model, and our go-to-market strategy. So imagine if you could go anywhere in the world and make a new friend based on a common interest, value, or experience. So whether you move to a new city, you're traveling solo, you've discovered a new hobby, or you're just feeling lonely, meet Panion. It's the mobile app that's going to allow you to use keyword searches and find like-minded people around you. It's not just for individuals, it's for like-minded couples or parents. I mean, the combinations are endless. Next slide, please. So Panion helps people of all ages make new friends in any location based on these mutual interests and shared activities. We have 4 main target groups: locals, travelers, newcomers, and cities. We want to focus first on newcomers, which is why you see that highlighted. We're also looking at groups such as expats, students, visiting professors, researchers, I mean, anybody that's moved to a new place. Next slide, please. So loneliness is a global epidemic. As an example, it's estimated that 1 in 5 Americans suffers from persistent loneliness. Panion's mission is to help people form deeper connections that begin with common interests, values, and experiences rather than just a photograph and a short byline. So starting over in a new place doesn't have to feel like social suicide. So the plan is, after we gain traction with newcomers, we'll expand our target audience through our different verticals, and we'll cater our messaging to these different groups that we're targeting. Next slide, please. So our business model is made up of 4 tiers. This is how we're going to make money, as you said earlier. So the first tier is our freemium plan. Our second is our premium plan. Our third is our local business plan. And the 4th is enterprise sales, which we'll leverage our API to do. The bottom 3 are our paid plans, which will use a subscription-based profitability model. We've made pretty conservative assumptions in our financial projections for conversion rates, as well as number of business targets per year. Next slide, please. Sorry about the font, it's a bit small, but this is our go-to-market plan. And in essence, our app is currently in a 2-week beta phase to validate customer needs. We have a prototype that we finished in May, I would say June, and we're now sort of approaching into this beta phase. And we've been focusing a lot of our time recently on our go-to-market strategy. So we've posted about our product and engaged with users in over 300 relevant Facebook groups. And we're also using Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns to target very specific groups of individuals based on age range, location, education, behaviors. We also have a press release that will be translated into different languages and distributed to local media outlets. We're targeting 1 to 2 cities at a time to grow in so that we have a strong user base in those locations where the app is really being used and users are engaged. Next slide, please. So here's just a quick example of our Instagram Who's Your Next Panion campaign. We're handing out stickers and asking people to post on their Instagram profile who they want to meet on our app. We're getting a ton of likes, a lot of exposure, and a lot of interest, and it's free. So most social apps focus solely on the individual, and then many friendship apps have stemmed from sort of a dating counterpart. They focus primarily on physical compatibility. There's actually very few options in the market available for, say, couples to find other couples or parents to find other parents based on these common interests. So what we're allowing you to do, what our value prop is we're allowing you to use keyword searches to find these like-minded people around you. Last slide, please. So I just want to thank you, especially for the technical hiccups earlier. So as I mentioned, our current timeline is that we've just begun beta testing, and we should be formally launched in the App Store in mid-September. We're currently looking for an investment to create the full build for our app, but keep an eye out for us and check our launch page if you want to stay informed on our updates. And I look forward to hearing your feedback.
So I don't understand how you make money.
How you make money. Okay, so the bottom 3 plans, and I can go into them in a little bit more detail. So the one on the left is our premium user plan. So that'll essentially be a user paying for upgraded features within the app, in essence.
And how much is that?
Plan, so we're still working out what the pricing is going to be. It's based on how much development cost is going to go into each of those features. So it could be a paid
that is not
plan
how
for
you do pricing. You do pricing based on what the market will tolerate, not based on your development cost.
I can tell you what our assumption is. Our assumption is that it'll be a $2.99 per month plan for these upgraded features. That's what we've built into our...
$2.99 or $299?
No. $2.99 for per user per month.
Okay. And what is this local business thing?
Say that again?
What is the local business plan? What local businesses are the local businesses doing here?
So the local business plan, we're basically going after local companies that want to advertise on our app. So say, for instance, you're a running store and you want to advertise running, anything related to your store related to running. You could basically come to us and pay $49.99 a month, and we would run your ad as people, the keyword searches come up on our app. So you could do running or running shoes or like anything related to your business. We could add an ad and do sort of, if you wanted to meet somebody and do anything.
Michelle, here's my feedback. First and foremost, ad businesses only work when you have millions and millions of users. So first question that you're going to need to answer is, how do you get to millions and millions of users?
Right.
And then how do you get, so you basically, you're going to need to, right now, based on what you've presented, these kinds of businesses don't get funded until you show traction. You can get funding from friends and family, but that's about it. So the question that is going to be paramount for you in building this business is, how do you bootstrap 2 million of users, and how do you get some percentage of these millions of users to pay for your premium plan? Because your premium plan is still a very low number, so for you to generate reasonable revenue such that you can cover your costs, you're going to need to get a very high conversion rate. Conversion rates in freemium are really low. 4% is considered like a outrageously high conversion rate. So these are questions that if I'm looking at this as an investment, these are questions that I would need answers to.
Okay. No, that's fair. My CEO is also on the line as an attendee, but I would say, we have a very aggressive marketing plan right now, which is part of the reason that we're reaching a lot of people in a short amount of time. We've had 1,300 signups for our beta in just about 2 weeks. So, but I agree with you that the pricing is important, and I just wanted to touch on that last monetization scheme, which is our enterprise. So getting a lot of people at once is the way that we're looking at, say, conferences. So a lot of people go to a conference, they know nobody, they want to meet somebody and maybe do something after the conference. So selling our API, powered by Panion to a conference, that's one way that we're looking at to get a lot of users at once, and that would cost $99 a month. Or we could do an annual plan, which is also the trend.
Selling-wise, it's very expensive to sell to conferences. Selling to conferences has come up a lot as conference organizers are being approached by a lot of, app vendors right now. They're trying to sell to conferences. And selling $99 pops, with high-touch selling is a very, very expensive proposition. It's not a profitable proposition at all. So I don't buy into that strategy.
Okay. Do you buy into the strategy or not the price?
I don't buy into any of it. I don't buy into the strategy. I don't buy into the price. I don't buy into the ability of a company to sell that strategy profitably into conferences. So I wouldn't, if I were you, I wouldn't hang my hat on that idea. So
Okay.
your local businesses, B2B plan, API sales, enterprise, I don't see these as being relevant anytime soon. What the key thing that you're going to figure out is how are you going to bootstrap your business to millions of users? And if you can answer that question with some sort of a compelling, really interesting, creative way, then you have a business here. And if you don't, then you need to consider whether you have a business here or not.
So are you basically saying at this stage this would not be viable for seed round funding? You know, we have a prototype.
Not. Absolutely not. There is no way you're going to get this funded.
So what would you be what are your recommendations for next steps? I did hear, you know, bootstrapping our way to 2 million users or whatever amount, but I mean, you know,
which is extremely difficult to do. Extremely, extremely, extremely difficult to do. Bootstrapping to millions of users is extremely, extremely, extremely difficult to do. So, I don't, you know, to be honest with you, I haven't given this a lot of thought. You know, until I hear your pitch, it's very difficult for me to understand the business. So this is the first pitch I'm getting.
Right.
You're going to need to figure out some way to monetize as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yep.
So that the revenues keep coming in as you're building the business. And how, you know, how much can you monetize as you're going along is a question that you're going to need to answer very quickly. And, you know, what compels people to pay for your app. So that you have, even if you have a relatively smaller number of users, if you can get a large number of paying users, then you can, you know, stay afloat. Again, you have to do the calculations of unit economics. Yep. Is what does it cost you to acquire users? What does it cost you to turn them into paying users? All of that, and yep. See if you can create a viable business plan. But don't make assumptions that you're going to raise a lot of seed funding right now and then you're going to have ad revenues and blah, blah, blah. None of these will fall into place. The only thing that you need to figure out right now is how do you get users to use your core product and pay for your core product. That's if you can't answer that question in a reasonably compelling way, then you do not have a business.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I know Tinder, for instance, you know, they didn't start charging customers until 3 or 4 years after they after they started their business, and it was only 1% of their user base. So we made some very conservative assumptions. Actually, I think we started with 0.1%. So, you know,
I think conversion is actually very, very low, yes. So that is the right assumption. The advantage that Tinder had was it was a different time. You know, when they started, there was some amount of these app businesses were getting funded. Freemium app businesses were getting funded. Right now, that is no longer the case, right? The market is very crowded, and people have been burned so much from funding these app businesses that never monetized and never, you know, made the money. So the investors are very jaded on the particular type of businesses.
So would you, last question, and I appreciate your time going over, would you recommend, you know, we're going to be basically, after our beta test, we're going to be launching in the App Store. Would you recommend that we have, originally the plan was for a year to be a free version to build up our user base because we need that. Would you recommend having a paid version right off the bat? I didn't think that we could.
You have a chicken and egg problem. You need a critical mass of users to be able to make the pairing. Otherwise, there's no business there. What are people going to pay for? So for each city that you launch into, you're going to need to have a certain free period where you accumulate the users, but then once you reach that critical mass, you have to determine what that critical mass is, and once you have that critical mass, you're going to need to start charging very quickly.
Right, and that's when you would say we would approach investors, like we need a data point to be able to approach them. They're not going to understand that we have a prototype and we've built all this hype. They want to actually see real numbers. They want to see us starting to grow our top line.
You know, unless you have millions of users and a monetization path that shows significant monetization of that user base, this business is not fundable.
Okay.
So right now, for a while, and it's going to take you a while to get to that point. So for quite a while, you have to stay focused on just, you know, being bootstrapped. You don't have a choice.
Okay, I appreciate your feedback.
You're very welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we can go to Q&A for a little bit. I'll put up the slide with the numbers. By the way, the next roundtables are 2 more in August and 4 more in September. And here are the call-in numbers. Anybody wants to call in or ask questions in public chat is fine too. Go ahead. And while you're doing that, let me introduce you to Irina Patterson, Irina at 1Mby1M.com. If you have questions about the 1Mby1M program, Irina would be your contact point. Anybody, any other questions, comments, introductions? If you're in the room and haven't introduced yourselves, please do that in the public chat. Tell us where you're joining from, what you're working on, what kinds of sector, what issues are you dealing with, etc. Rishi Gupta, can you recommend some product development outfits to help develop consumer health and lifestyle device? We do not recommend vendors, Rishi. I recommend that you go to Upwork, place a project outline, and do the due diligence on vendors that will bid for it, do extensive reference checking, and find somebody. Reference checking is very, very important in recruiting these development shops. Ray Vincent, what would be the next step for me to see whether my idea is worth pursuing? As I said, Ray, you should go through the self-assessment and see whether you're working, whether you're being able to answer those questions and figure out what are the affiliate networks in the segments that you're looking for and so forth. If you need help, you're most welcome to use 1Million for help. That's what we do. We help entrepreneurs move forward and remove their roadblocks. So you're welcome to join the program as a basic member or a premium member, and we'll be happy to help you more. So Ray, when this recording becomes available, listen to the recording. I've given you very precise instructions in the recording during your pitch when I dialogued with you on what your next steps are. So listen to those. You need to figure out whether you can actually make this an affiliate business, which means that you need affiliate networks in those categories. Do they exist? Do they not exist? What are the models? What are the commission rates, et cetera, et cetera? All those questions need to be answered. Anybody else? Questions, comments, introductions? All right, folks. It looks like we have come to the end of the program. We will see you shortly in one of the upcoming roundtables, hopefully. And good luck in making lots of progress with your ventures. We completely empathize with you how difficult it is to bootstrap businesses, So this is why we try to be very creative in helping you learn how to bootstrap and so forth, because the funding situations have gone further and further out. There was a time, when I first became an entrepreneur, it was kind of like the height of the dot-com era on the internet. Actually, people would fund concepts. But that's no longer the case. We are now far out of that. Now there's any venture that actually gets funded has to go through several years of bootstrapping almost to get to paying customers and unit economics and so forth before anybody will actually invest. And that's just the reality of today's market. So take that feedback and plan accordingly so that you don't get blindsided. Good luck. See you soon. Bye-bye.